reincarnation. ABC News, June 30th, 2005. Nearly 6 decades ago, a 21-year-old Navy fighter pilot on a mission over the Pacific was shot down by Japanese artillery. His name might have been forgotten were it not for a 6-year-old James Lininger. Quite a few people, including those who knew the fighter pilot, think James is the pilot reincarnated. James's parents, Andrea and Bruce, a highly educated modern couple, say they are probably the people least likely to have a scenario like this pop up in their lives. But over time, they have become convinced that their little son has had a former life. From an early age, James would play with nothing else but planes, his parents say. But when he was 2, they said the planes their son loved began to give him regular nightmares. I'd wake him up and he'd be screaming, Andrea told ABC News' Chris Cuomo. She said that she asked her son what he was dreaming about, and he would say, airplane crash on fire, little man can't get out, reality check. Andrea says her mom was the first to suggest James was remembering a past life. At first, Andrea says she was doubtful. James was only watching kids shows, his parents said, and they weren't watching World War II documentaries or conversing about military history. But as time went by, Andrea began to wonder what to believe. In one video of James at age 3, he goes over a plane as if he's doing a pre-flight check. Another time, Andrea says she bought him a toy plane and pointed out what appeared to be a bomb on its underside. She says James corrected her and told her it was a drop tank. I'd never heard of a drop tank, she said. I didn't know what a drop tank was. Then James' violent nightmares got worse. Occurring 3 or 4 times a week, Andrea's mother suggested she look into the work of counselor and therapist Carol Bowman, who believes that the dead sometimes can be reborn. With guidance from Bowman, they began to encourage James to share his memories, and immediately, Andrea says, the nightmares started to become less frequent. James was also becoming more articulate about his apparent past, she said. Bowman said James was at the age when former lives were most easily recalled. They hadn't had the cultural conditioning, the layering over of the experience in his life so the memories can percolate up more easily, she said. Trail of mysteries. Over time, James's parents says he revealed extraordinary details about the life of a former fighter pilot, mostly at bedtime when he was drowsy. They say James told him his plane had been hit by the Japanese and crashed. Andrea says James told his father he flew a Corsair and then told her they used to get flat tires all the time. In fact, historians and pilots agree that the plane's tires took a lot of punishment on landing, but that's a fact that can easily be found in books or on television. Andrea says James also told his father the name of the boat he took off from, Natoma, and the name of someone he flew with, Jack Larson. After some research, Bruce discovered both the Natoma and Jack Larson were real. The Natoma Bay was a small aircraft carrier in the Pacific, and Larson is living in Arkansas. It was like, holy mackerel, Bruce said. You could have poured my brains out of my ears. I just couldn't believe it. James 2 equals James M. Huston Jr. Bruce became obsessed, searching the internet, combing through military records and interviewing men who served aboard the Natoma Bay. He said James told him that he had been shot down at Iwo Jima. James had also begun signing his crayon drawings, James 3. Bruce soon learned that the only pilot from the squadron killed at Iwo Jima was James M. Hudson Jr. Bruce says James also told him his plane had sustained a direct hit on the engine. Ralph Klaber, a rear gunner on a U.S. airplane that flew off the Natoma Bay, says his plane was right next to one flown by James M. Huston Jr. during a raid near Iwo Jima on March 3, 1945. Klaber said he saw Huston's plane struck by anti-aircraft fire. I would say he was hit head-on, right in the middle of the engine, he said. Treasured mementos. Bruce says he now believes his son had a past life in which he was James M. Huston Jr. He came back because he wasn't finished with something. The Liningers wrote a letter to Huston's sister, Ann Barron, about their little boy, and now she believes it as well. The child was so convincing in coming up with all the things that there is no way in the world he could know, she said. But Professor Paul Kurtz of the State University of New York at Buffalo, who heads an organization that investigates claims of the paranormal, says he thinks the parents are self-deceived. They're fascinated enchanted by the mysterious, and they built up a fairy tale, he said. James's vivid, alleged recollections are starting to fade as he gets older, but among his prized possessions remains two haunting presents sent to him by Barron: a bust of George Washington and a model of a Corsair aircraft. They were among the personal effects of James Huston sent home after the war. He appears to have experienced something that I don't think is unique, but the way it's been revealed is quite astounding, Bruce said. Asked if the idea that James may have been someone else changes his or his wife's feelings about their son, Bruce said, "It doesn't change how we think. I don't look at him and say, 'That's not my boy.' That's my boy."
All right, take a moment. So for how many of you it was a new information? You can raise your hand. Okay, one. Anybody else? So most of you know about this, the science of consciousness. And why this is such an important thing, of course, we can go into each of the topic separately, but the goal, we don't have all the time. When we think that I am Deepak, I am external body, and my friend Rahul, let's say he picks a fight with me. Now, we may fight because we don't agree with that. So that's, at the external body, that's how I'm making the decision, and I can act based on that, right? So when I say change, when I am saying that, Bhakti Yoga is the way of life. What is that way of life? When we understand that we are more than the body, we are more than the mind, we are a conscious being. And conscious being is eternal. It's just not my age, right? That is much longer. And they gave the proof through the logic. What was the logic they played with? What was the example they talked about? How through logic we say that we are not the body?
Body changes.
Pardon me?
The body changes.
Body changes, and there was example, the lady was showing that her husband had died, and he's saying, my husband has gone. The body is there. And that's a common across the culture, right? Any culture, whether you're in East or West, somebody died, people say that this is gone, he's gone, she's gone. Who is gone? The body is there, right? So that's through logic, right? Then through the modern science, which is the NDE. If you go and Google on it, NDEs, lot of things you will find. The lot of scientific experimentation has happened. And then the OBO, outer body experience, OBE, right? So through that, also we know that there is something which we cannot see, which we cannot measure, but we can experience. So as Crow was talking about, it's an experience. Now you see that through this concept, can you answer, so we have discussed this concept a little bit. Now going back is a way of life. If you know somebody's nature, right, let's say in a relationship, how this can be so powerful. Now you see, I'm just trying to apply it, right, how it can be so powerful. If you're in a relationship, or a friend relationship, or an intimate relationship, parental relationship, any of their all type of relationships, right? If you're in that relationship, you have to deal with the nature, right? You know a person, you like a person, but there are some things you may not like. And you're trying to change that person's nature. What do you think? What has been your experience? How easy it is to change people's nature? Very difficult. And you can ask the people who have been married for a long time, or right? It's very, very difficult. It can change gradually, but it's very, very difficult where that is coming from. And this concept can be explained if we understand that there is something which we don't see, which is called soul, right? And that is eternal. It is moving from one body to another body, and as it's moving, it's carrying the impression. Impression means what I desire. I wanted to have a lot of, like I I was a sports person. Let's say I love adventure. So the next body, I will have most probably I have the kind of body which is very adventurous. I would like to take risks. Other person may not, right? And doesn't matter how hard you try, that person just has. I have a couple of friends who say that I would love to die in the mountains. They're like 50, 60. Like, I'm not kidding. 60-year-old. Like, he's climbing and he's saying that this is the place I want to die while climbing the mountain. And they're serious, right? So coming back, right? This is something to really reflect on. Think when we are the takeaway for us. We are more than the body. Okay. Can I have some? Do you have any question, comments so far what we have talked about?
Is conscious the same as soul?
Consciousness is a symptom of soul. Yes. Consciousness is a symptom. So there was a way when the things we don't see the things. So I say, Ethan, what's the name of your father? Ab. Okay. Ab is a scientist. Okay? He's a very intelligent person. He's a scientist, right? He's a very intelligent person. Ab, can you show me your intelligence?
Yes, you can demonstrate your intelligence.
That's okay. Yeah, I was just making a point. So it's hard. So the only way we can understand Ab is intelligent by seeing his paper, the way he solves the problem, right? So symptom. So we know Ab is intelligent because I can see the symptom. So that's also the science. Not everything which we see is a science. Cause and effect is also the branch of science, right? So that's how we can understand that. So any other question?
I like the comment in the video about the analogy with air, because we can't see air, but we can interact with it. We breathe it. We sometimes we can see it in clouds, but
Yes.
I just thought it was a nice
Yeah.
analogy.
The other example was the air, which was talked about, right? But the takeaway is, see, when we say Bhakti Yoga is the science of the self. So the concept what we learned today, we are beyond body, and as we are interacting in our life, think about that, and that will change your whole perspective. I am guaranteeing your relationship with your people around you, your intimate relationship, your friends' relationship, your parental relationship, all will become much more beautiful if we think that we are more than the body. Okay? And if you like these things, if this is something which you would like to explore, we have a beginning bhakti series, which Bree, yeah, she's a wonderful teacher. She's a wonderful teacher, and a lot of folks who have studied from her, they can just say that. We'll be starting a new series on January 12th. You are most welcome to join it. It's all free, it's online, so we don't need to travel. So we'll encourage you. So we go over this concept, and as you are learning this concept, you will understand the true meaning of yoga. Right? All these yoga, the Stang yoga, the energy, chakra, all those things, all will come in the whole system. Okay? And you will be able to understand everything, you'll be able to start applying in your life. So that's the example of Bhakti Yoga, what we discussed today. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. We will transition back to our next two kirtans before we wrap up the night. So I'll ask everybody who was up here to come back up here.
is what
What when you like eat anything that's very periodic.
That's I think A minor. I think. Let me see. So this is the first one. Maybe that's not A minor.
Sorry, guys.
Is that from you?
No.
I'm telling you, there's like something happening today, and actually since last week, I have no idea what.
What kind of gremlin traps do you have?
Anyways, we will now transition real quick to our final kirtan. We have Jasper and Ari leading us, so we'll do a quick switcheroo and we'll be right back.
Inside, right here. Yeah.
If it starts to back, just move it to your
Both of you
left.
singing? Okay.
Alright. So it looked like earlier we had a lot of veterans in the room. By show of hands, has anyone not done this? No? Have you not done them? All right, so it's 3 words, as you can see. If you just repeat after me. Hare, Krishna, Rama. And just alternations of that. I'm going to go pretty slow at the first start, and yeah, thank you for coming.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna
just voice. I don't know if you could feel it, but voice and sound have so much potency. And I really appreciated how so much of the mantra was led just in simple chanting. There was no need for fancy tunes or different aspects, but just through calming voice and mantra chanting, how we can find inner peace. Thank you, Ari and Jasper. So that brings us to the end of tonight. So real quick, some last announcements. I want to first of all thank all of you, our Kirtan singers and chanters who make this event possible. I remember, even just a little over a year ago when we would do these events and there would be 3 or 4, maybe 5 people and maybe renting a little space up on University Avenue, and it was really fulfilling. But now with so many of you chanting with us, the amount of fulfillment has grown, the amount of energy and the potency of the sound vibration has grown. So very grateful to all of you. In addition, very grateful to everybody who made the Kirtan possible. We had John on the tabla, we had Bradley on the mridanga for the last Kirtan, we had Vishwamber, there he is near the blue light, on the mridanga for the first 2 Kirtans. We had Bree on the kartal. We had Ethan lead us for the first 2 Kirtans. We had Jasper play the bass guitar. And we had Ari lead us alongside Jasper for the last Kirtan. In addition, I want to thank everybody behind the scenes who helped make this event possible. We had Nupur, Divya, Rasavati, Ethan, Prabhakar, Rahul. Hopefully I'm not forgetting anybody, but these are the people who truly power everything behind the scenes. I mean, we get to sit up here and be in the nice, cool lights, but these are the people who really give this event energy. In addition, some last announcements. We have some cool upcoming events. You may have seen our calendar is starting to look a little empty going into the end of the year because we're just winding down, but we are starting to get a sense of what will be coming up in January. So like Deepak mentioned, we have a new group starting for the Beginning Bhakti series. So essentially what we did for our wisdom talk today is what we do in the Beginning Bhakti series. You watch a video, there's some discussion. It's very discussion oriented actually. About 75% of it is discussion, and you get to explore topics such as consciousness, the missing link, the mind, is it a friend or a foe, karma, free will and destiny, so on and so forth. So if you like, you can scan that QR code, or if you're part of our WhatsApp community, you'll see a Beginning Bhakti group that you can join to learn more. In addition, on December 21st, here at Bhakti Studio, we have a mandala and yoga workshop event happening. It's led by another one of our wonderful community members. It'll be really fun. It's on the winter solstice. Come for the flow or come for the community, come for both. It's really up to you, but it'll be a fun time for sure. In addition, this is my humble request. If you have come here for the first time, if you have come here over and over again, if you can scan this QR code and tell us how we're doing. I mean, up here I get to see all of your smiling faces, but I know all of you are probably sitting on some wonderful ideas on how we can be doing things even a little better. You might have some ideas for how to mix things up. Actually, when we sent the feedback form a few months ago specifically for the Kirtan, someone was like, you should make the talks more interactive. And then that's when we had like some more games, like Bree let us on a wonderful game, and we started trying to make them more interactive. So please, want to hear from you, you can scan this, or we have it on our bulletin board if you have an idea pop up, or if there's something that you think we are doing well and you think we should keep doing, please tell us. Otherwise, we might change it thinking that it's not working. So, our humble request. And finally, the Kirtan schedule. Next week, on the 20th, is the last Kirtan for 2025. We hope you join us. It's a wonderful way to wrap up the year. And then after that, we will be back on January 10th for the first Kirtan of 2026. on January 17th, we tentatively have a special guest who will be joining us to share a little bit of wisdom. He is the Consulate General of India, so essentially the government official from India who, I guess, I'm not really that sure, but he represents India and does all the government politics and whatnot. So he's going to be joining us tentatively and also be sharing a little bit about the spiritual wisdom from India that is practiced in subtle ways, such as why do you fold your hands when you greet people? Why do people in India drink out of steel cups? There's subtle things that people do and they're rooted in spiritual practice. So I think it'll be a really interesting talk. So you guys are probably like, he never stops talking. That being said, we'll go to the best part. If you scan this QR code, this is not the best part. I just remembered something. If you scan this QR code, it takes you to our WhatsApp community again. Best way to stay up to date. Okay, now the best part. So we have some wonderful food that we will be serving. In order to avoid collisions in this hallway, we ask that you exit out of this door right here that Deepak is opening, and you take a loop around the racetrack back through the entrance where we'll have some wonderful volunteers waiting to serve you. Thank you so much, everybody. Please enjoy your meal.